how's it going? I hope you're doing well. I've got a colossal build for you today. It took me a ridiculously long time, and I knew it was going to be a big one. So what I did is I went to Twitter and I asked you guys how you wanted to see it, and the results were that you wanted to see it in two parts. So it is going to be in two parts, and this build actually turns out much better in live mode because of all the fountains and the water and stuff like that. So I highly encourage you to watch the second part. I'll leave links to it throughout the video and also in the description below when I upload it. But we're building the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, which is a ancient city that is completely and utterly overgrown with plants and trees. It's been pretty elusive actually, a bit like Atlantis, and archaeologists have yet to actually prove that it existed. But it was talked about in a lot of ancient Greek and Roman text from where like the warriors and things like that would go and travel around that area. And from these texts, they've been able to sort of work out that it would have been hundreds of feet wide. And due to all the plants all over it, it would have needed something like 300 tons of water every single day, which is a ridiculous amount. So you can imagine that there would be very complex water systems to be able to get all of that water to all of the plants every single day. So the ancient city of Babylon is somewhere I think that maybe you can visit, but it's not the Hanging Gardens of Babylon. This is actually a new sort of theory which has come about of where this might be, is actually in a nearby ancient city called, I'm going to butcher its name, Nineveh. Maybe that's how you say it. But it's said to be there because at one point in time that was actually called New Babylon. So they're thinking that maybe it's there, and archaeologists have been there and they're starting to see a place where it could be, and apparently they've started to see evidence of complex water systems, so it might be that this actually exists. But it was said to be one of the most amazing, beautiful places to go, and so I really hope that I do it justice, even though the pictures like online are all artist impressions. So there's not something I could directly reference, because obviously we haven't found where it might be, or even if it even existed. So I'm not obviously going to get it 100%, but this was really actually fun to sort of think up of my own way of what it might have looked like. I also didn't want it to look too boxy, which quite a lot of the artist impressions did, so I kept some sort of boxiness to it, but I wanted to sort of make it look like maybe some of it looked like how it would do, in ancient times. Some of it looked like it was falling apart in places and sort of being converted into something new. I wanted to do sort of a mixture because I didn't want it to be a complete ruin. I didn't want it to be I wanted it to be somewhat authentic as well, not like it had been made from scratch over again, although, that could have worked for this. But yeah, I hope you guys like it. And it mostly uses actually the new stuff pack that we got. I've forgotten its name already. Is it? All of the stuff packs, they get muddled up in my mind. But is it the Romantic Garden? Is that what it's called? I think that is. But we use some of the columns. We also use these hanging plants, that sort of draping plants that maybe are a bit like ivy that go on the top of walls. So we use some of those. We also use the tables and chairs and that kind of thing, the fountains, all that stuff from the new pack. We also use a lot of the plants because they actually went really... I used a lot of these low-lying plants that I'm putting here. It's like low-lying yellow flowers, I think they're called, and there was a lot of plants which I could use within that green, but also I tended to use these new plants in white and yellow colours, white, yellow, and orange, and it went really, really nicely as a colour scheme, I thought. So I used a lot of that in this build. You can also see where I'm making this tower now. I actually added I think they're the bubbles, the water, the natural pond bubbling thing, as a sort of roof piece on top of that tower. I thought it looks pretty cool. It means that obviously we get a perfectly round thing, but I thought that sort of the intricate pattern on the top could be like these little holes I'm doing in the ground, where plants could sort of grow through, and obviously it's got all the algae and stuff on it, so I thought it fitted really well. And we actually put some trees going through the building here. They end up being, I think, bamboo trees, which possibly doesn't really fit this, but it's not something that you really notice when it's actually playing. And it was the best choice for the game because they're tall and quite thin, and it means that they're not sort of chopping into the walls too much, and they're not in the way, and Sims can still walk past, and all that kind of stuff. I also made this build so that it would be, I think I did all the objects you needed for a lounge, possibly, I can't remember if it's a lounge, a cafe, a nightclub. You can quickly make it available as a bar if you add in a TV somewhere. You can also make this a home. It has a bedroom. But it's listed as a park. So you can really use this for anything, and you can add anything you want to. It also has some spa day items, so you could make this into a spa as well. Although I've only used yoga mats and meditation places in some of the garden. But if you're looking to sort of skip ahead, or that kind of thing, unfortunately, because it was such a big build, I just took my imagination where it was. So at the moment we're doing the bathroom. We're basically finishing the building of the bathroom and the interior as we're going, and that happens with the kitchen as well, which I put in because this is also somewhere where you can get married. There's a wedding arch, and so I thought if you're having a wedding you need somewhere to cook, so your cake, so there's a kitchen here as well. And if you were making this into your home, it's got that too. So I sort of just jump around and do where the creativity takes me. So I'm sorry if you just want to watch the building, or just the landscaping, or just the interior, because to be honest, they all mix together. There isn't really a distinction between them anyway, because of the style of the build that it is. But we're doing the bathrooms here, and we're doing a similar sort of theme to the downstairs one. And what I really like about these is the archways, so that in the sink area it's still really open and spacey and like you're outdoors, but you get still the privacy of when you're in the toilet as well. So I actually really like those little things. Here I'm struggling with stairs because I wanted to be able to, you'll see in a minute, I wanted to be able to have this area where the next level of stairs goes up. I wanted that to be completely open so that the stairs were floating, and I wanted to be able to put the pillars from downstairs supporting that staircase, but I couldn't make it work, so I just did a barrier around the outside, and it doesn't look too bad, so I just left it as that. And in a minute what we do, I think, is we just sort of plan out where everything's going to go. So up here, there's going to be the kitchen area. We have a bar and nightclub downstairs, and on the top floor we have a bedroom and also sort of games rooms, and also somewhere where music performers could go. And downstairs in the other building where I built the toilets before, we're having sort of a kids area there, where there's monkey bars and a jungle gym, and also a little play area too with loads of toys and stuff like that, so that your children's sims or child sims can play whilst you're in this lot. And obviously there's the massive pool, we're having a wishing well, all that kind of stuff all in this build, but most of what I said actually comes in the second part, which is going to be a little bit longer than this video. I think this video is going to be 20 minutes, and that one with the screenshots added will probably be about 30. But yeah, we're using some of these lattices from the new pack as well. I actually think these look really nice. And again, I love the arches and I love that it all feels like it's outdoors, but it's still sort of undercover. And if we're talking about realism, then I think in Persia, it is quite hot around, you know, all around the time of the year. So it wouldn't really be a problem, but also it's all stone and trees and plants, and there's so much water anyway due to the plants that getting wet isn't really going to be a problem, and it's not really going to change things. But this is the little room where we have a cafe, and I think it looks so good when I've got some screenshots and it's got like the Winterberg Mountains in the background, and it looks so good. I would love to just spend all my time with that view in that cafe. It'd be phenomenal. But yeah, this is where we put the bar and the cafe. Oh no, the bar and the nightclub, sorry. So we put a bar here. We also put a bar down that long thin bit, and we put a dance floor and also a DJ booth there as well. But I'm going into the landscaping now, and some of this is repetitive, I feel like, though it's still interesting. And I also, part of my poll was whether you guys wanted me to cut a lot out of this build so that you didn't have to watch it. But a lot of you said that you wanted to see all of it in the 2 parts, so that's what I've done. What I'm doing here, what I just did there with the little bubble things for the water, when you're in live mode, what happens is when they're coming up to the surface, it looks almost identical to if a real waterfall was splashing into the water, because all the foam up at the top and the bubbles, and it doesn't really go to the outer edge of those little pools, it's just right close to the wall, so it looks really realistic. And also in the in live mode, the actual water which is coming down is much stronger, so you can kind of see them, but you can't see the little lines between the windows either, and it just looks like it's a real fountain, which is really awesome. There's obviously the line at the top, which can't be helped, but other than that, it looks pretty realistic. So again, look out for the screenshots in the next build. But I find landscaping, personally, when I'm doing it, really relaxing. Like, it's therapeutic almost. Like, it's something I can do and sort of relax and just, especially like this, where I know what kind of landscape I'm doing, and it's the kind of landscaping that I like doing as well. And being able to do it, it's been really nice. So I hope that when you're watching it, it's sort of as therapeutic as me actually building it. I also, looking at it all sped up, it kind of looks like, especially when I'm sort of resizing the plants as well, it looks like the plants are growing, and it looks like the plants are actually like taking over the building, which I think looks really cool when I'm watching this this back and doing the commentary. And I think watching the sort of plants evolve and take over this building looks really good. I also think that the finishing touches on this really make a difference. The last few things sort of bring it all together, I think. It's one of those builds where, because I've done it in such a chaotic way, because it is just my creativity unleashing, it really does, there's sort of like, at the end, the final few pieces are the things that really sort of bring it together. But you'll see throughout the 2 videos, I actually flick between getting up my what is it called? The gallery. Why don't you save it to the gallery image? And the reason why I'm doing that is I'm trying to see how much foliage is actually visible when it's in the gallery image, because of course I do want to have a lot of plants and stuff like that, but I don't want it to I don't want to be in the situation where you can't actually see that it's a building, you just see plants, because there's so much of them. And I also put in trees all around it, so I don't want to block it off too much, so that when also I'm taking screenshots and when you're in gameplay they don't get in the way and all that kind of stuff. So that's why I'm flicking in between. And I think it's quite important if you want to have people download your builds to have good screenshots. Or on the screenshots for the gallery. I haven't mastered it yet. A lot of my builds don't really get any downloads in comparison to others, but I'm trying to get better at it. So I never used to pay attention. I used to just make the build as it was. But I'm paying attention now because I can see how important it is. Also, I made sure throughout this build that Sims could get all around. To take screenshots for a build this big, I actually played Sims, I think 4 Sims on this lot for 2 days. 2 sim days, and I got them using basically every single object that is in the game, or in this lot. So you won't have any problems with that kind of thing. Something which I haven't tested, which I probably should, is whether anything disappears when this is placed down. So like I said before, and probably what I'll say in the next part as well, a good idea is to actually go into the lot itself when you're placing it, and then turn on the move objects cheat, which is bb.moveObjectsOn, and the on has like a gap in between the bb.moveObjects. That's all the one word. And so if you type that in, then the everything in the lot will turn out exactly how I built it, just in case you're worried about that. But I've never really had a problem with plants and greenery before being the things that disappear. It tends to be things that I've moved up, so maybe moved with the 9 and 0 keys. So it might be at the top of the tower that bubble thing might disappear, but I think other than that, I don't think there's anything that will disappear. Yeah, we're putting in more flowers, and I try and use as much of the new pack as I can, and the little water fountains and things like that. And these overgrown ones. The only one I think I don't use, I almost used it but I don't in the end, is the flowery arch. Oh, and also the flowery fencing pieces. I don't use that, but I think I use pretty much everything else in this build. And we put in some random arches, and some of the things clip through to the ceiling, and sometimes I cover that up with more plants and stuff like that, so that it looks good. I'd also like to mention that it is awesome when they're swimming in this lot, because when they're swimming, because it's such a big thing and they're not having to turn around, they go crazy fast. Crazy fast, and it looks like they're swimming in a real lake or like a massive pool. I mean, it is a massive pool, but it looks like larger than life. It really looks like it's a lake or a river, and that's what they're swimming in, because it is just so huge. And they swim the entire length. They go from one end to the other, and it's really, really cool. And this isn't actually the full size of the water that I put down. I actually extend it further around the corner. So this isn't even, the final bit of how far they go. But anyway, I'm going to leave that as it is. As we start the next one, the area down by the river on the ground, that's where we start going first. We put in the new water fountain. And then next we also do the wedding place where I put loads and loads of candles all over the floor, and it's really romantic. And I finish off the rest of the building, all the interiors and stuff like that. So thank you very, very much for watching, and I hopefully will see you again soon.